On June 7th, 2025, a Ford Escort rally car moved slowly through the streets of Kenmare. Inside that car wasn't a driver, it was an urn, the ashes of Michael Gaine. He had disappeared for 49 days. He was found in a slurry tank, decomposed on his own land. But at his funeral, no one said the word murder. Not once. Hundreds of people came to pay their respects. They filled the church. They left flowers. They cried. But no one asked the one question that still matters. Who did this? Because Michael's killer could still be walking free. And as his ashes lay in the car he once raced, the silence spoke louder than anyone inside that church. They called it a celebration of life. But for many in Kenmare, it felt like something was missing. More than 300 mourners filled Holy Cross Church. People stood shoulder to shoulder. Some wore black, some wore rally team jackets. Many just looked lost. There were no signs, no banners, no mention of justice. On the altar sat objects that told the story of Michael's life: a music CD, his car keys, a globe, a tuft of sheep's wool. But none of them explained why this funeral was happening in the first place. No priest, no friend, no family member said the word killed. No one spoke of the slurry tank. No one named the man who had been questioned. No one asked for answers. And yet they wept, because deep down they all knew Michael Gaine didn't just die. Someone ended his life. During the service, Father George Hayes spoke gently. He called Michael Gaine brave, strong, the glue that held the family together. He talked about Michael's love for music, for travel, for animals. He spoke about the man everyone in Kenmare thought they knew. But not once did he speak about the way Michael died. Not once did he say the word murder. Not once did he call for justice. One mourner later said, "We've asked so many questions, and sometimes there are no answers." But there are answers. Someone put Michael in that slurry tank. Someone covered it up. And someone might be watching this story right now. The silence at the funeral wasn't peaceful. It was painful. Because when a man is killed in his own yard and nobody says a word about it, that's not respect. That's fear. On the altar, there were no photos of the crime scene. No footage. No news clippings. Instead, there were objects, chosen with care. Each one carried meaning. There was a music CD. Because Michael loved Irish traditional music, he played it in the car, on the farm, at rallies. There were his car keys, a tribute to the rally driver inside him. The man who used to race through muddy Irish backroads with the same calm focus he used to herd sheep. There was a globe, because Michael dreamed of traveling more, even if he never had much time to leave the land. And there was a tuft of sheep's wool, a piece of the farm, the life he built, the routine he followed, the field he returned to every single day. Each symbol said, this was a man of habit, of loyalty, of rhythm. But none of the items hinted at how that rhythm was shattered. There was no police report, no Garda badge, nothing to suggest that this man had died in a slurry tank, possibly killed by someone he once trusted. The altar spoke of peace. But the ground he came from tells a different story. The church was full, the pews packed, but the one thing missing from that service was the truth. No one said how Michael Gaine died. Not the priest, not the family, not the friends. No one mentioned the slurry tank. No one said the word killed. There was no appeal to the public, no request for witnesses, no plea for justice. It was as if speaking it out loud might break something open. People whispered outside the church. They talked about how long he was missing, about the man who lived on his farm, about the tank. But inside, it was all folded into silence. And that silence didn't feel sacred. It felt scared. Because deep down, everyone knew this wasn't just a loss. It was a crime. And no one was ready to say it. Outside the church, a Garda patrol car was parked just down the road. Officers stood near the gates, not in uniform, no flashing lights, no press conference, just watching. Inside, their presence was never mentioned. No one from the Garda spoke. No updates were given. No suspects named. No timeline shared. Michael Gaine's funeral came just days after Garda had officially confirmed the remains found in the slurry tank were his, just days after they called it a murder investigation. But at the service, that word was left outside with the rain. It was a funeral, not a press briefing. But in cases like this, sometimes silence from the police says just as much as their words. The investigation was still ongoing. But justice? Nowhere in sight. After the funeral mass ended, something extraordinary happened. Michael Gaine's ashes were placed inside his restored Ford Escort rally car. It wasn't a hearse. It wasn't traditional. It was his car. The same one he had raced in for years through the hills and dirt tracks of County Kerry. With his ashes secured in the front seat, the engine was started one more time, and the car made a final lap through Kenmare. The crowd went silent. Some clapped, some cried. The roar of the engine echoed through the narrow streets like a heartbeat, loud, proud, and grieving. It was a powerful tribute, personal, deeply Irish, but it was also a farewell with no answers. Because as the car passed, no placards were raised, no banners demanded justice, no slogans called for accountability. It was raw emotion, but emotion without direction. A man was killed, and yet his final journey moved through the town like a ghost, powerful but wordless. As hundreds gathered to say goodbye to Michael Gaine, one man was not among them: Michael Kelly, the American farmhand who had lived with Michael for 3 years, the same man who was arrested the day after Michael's remains were found, questioned for hours, then released without charge. Since then, he hasn't spoken publicly. He filed a complaint against the Garda, moved to Tralee, and went quiet. At the funeral, there was no mention of him. No one said his name. No one acknowledged his connection. But everyone knew. This was the man who had shared the same house, the same yard, the same days, and now the same silence. His absence was louder than any eulogy. Because when someone that close stays away, people notice, and they remember. Michael Gaine was reported missing in March. His remains were found in May. His funeral was held in June, but still no charges, no trial, no justice. The Garda have officially declared it a murder investigation. They've confirmed that Michael didn't die by accident. They've said the slurry tank was not searched for weeks. They've questioned one man and released him. Now they've launched a peer review, another internal look at how the case was handled, how the search was conducted, what went wrong. But inside the town of Kenmare, people are no longer waiting for answers. They're starting to doubt they'll ever come. And that's the weight of it all. Because Michael Gaine is gone, the funeral is over. And the only thing left open is the investigation. Michael Gaine is finally at rest. His ashes carried in his favorite car, his family gathered, his town grieving. But peace is not the same as closure. His funeral ended without a name, without a charge, without truth. The investigation continues, but so does the silence. The guard, I say, it's still active. The community says nothing out loud. And somewhere, maybe nearby, maybe far away, someone knows exactly what happened. Someone knows why Michael ended up in that tank. But for now, no one is talking. And that may be the hardest part. Because Michael deserved more than silence. He deserved answers. And he still does.